The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
There's something that can be done as a possibility and it's going to benefit, then we'll try to connect those dots. You know what you're capable of, you've run at that pace, and now you have to redirect. Welcome to Moments of Strength. I'm your host, Mary Kaufman. In this show, we celebrate the incredible resilience of mothers, showing up through life's challenges, growing through every triumph, and carving out space for their own passions and identity. We're here to uplift and reassure every mom that you're not alone, and asking for help is a powerful strength. Each episode brings a story of motherhood's beautiful chaos. I'm happy you can join us for today's inspiring journey. And just as a disclaimer before we start this episode, we are actually in a building that's under construction. So I just want to acknowledge that if you hear some construction noises, that's what that is, but we cannot be derailed by other people's plans. So we are going to push forward. So today's guest is Dr. Tay. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
And thank you so much for coming. We actually didn't know each other before I put an ad out about the show and you responded and we had that talk, and your story is very inspiring and you're doing a lot of good things. And then outside of that, you know, we want to learn about your motherhood journey since that's what the show is about. So what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about your childhood, as much or as little as you want to share. And then really the journey to motherhood sort of naturally unfolds from there. And the aim of the show is to let the viewers pull things from your story that can encourage them. You know, they can feel strength and they can recognize that they're not alone. So, sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, so thank you for coming. And yeah, so if you want to start, you know, maybe with where it all began, that would be great.
Yes, well, I was one of six. Mm-hmm. My oldest brother, Michael, passed from COVID 4 years ago. And so now there's 5 of us left. Mm-hmm. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters that I absolutely love and adore. I'm the middle child. So
okay, yes.
I am that.
Is there some of that typical middle child stuff?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you do all the things because you're taking care of making sure the olders don't get in trouble, or you're learning from them, but then, you know, you're carrying my baby brother, my baby sister, Joshua and Alicia. They were like my children. So growing up in our house, we were always taught that the older sibling is responsible for the younger siblings.
Yes.
They are your children. So they're not just your brother or sister.
Yes.
These are your children. And so it's kind of funny, actually. Motherhood started before I was even
very
a mother.
Early.
And I took that responsibility so very seriously. I love my baby sister Alicia, and my baby brother Joshua. I call him my little Chico. It's so funny. I call him Chico Suave, and it's like smooth little boy. And he's like in his 30s, and I still call him Chico. And
it doesn't change.
You're calling a man a boy? No, because he's always my little man, you know. And so that's really how we grew up. My father was in the Air Force, and so I didn't have to move around like a military child because he was in the Guard. But we still lived on a military base. We still moved a couple of times, and so just really being brought up in, you know, just order and structure. And both of my parents are educators, so just really having that education and the importance of education instilled in you. But you know, interesting enough, I can remember, and now that I am here in my journey and move through so many things, I can see that, you know, I've always had like an inner light and a passion my whole life. And a desire to serve and give and protect my whole life. So I would always have friends. I love making friends. I love people and seeing others shine. And so that's what I remember the most, you know, and definitely there was a lot of hard life things that happened growing up, you know, whether it was, you know, being assaulted or being raped or being kicked out or all the things. I still know that like with each hard issue, it never hit like this is meant to destroy me. It always in my mind was, okay, who is this meant to help? And how do I turn this to make sure that someone can look at this, see this, feel the feeling, but still step forward and just shine. And so I'm really excited about that. And just now hindsight is always 2020, right? And just being able to take time. I try to do it monthly just to take time, sit back and reflect and relive or go through my life journey. And okay, when I was, in elementary school, right? I grew up in Oconomowoc, which was predominantly an all-white community. And so that had its own struggles.
Sure.
And just the different things that we had to experience as siblings. It brought us closer because we were the only brown ones to talk to and play with and understand.
Sure.
And I remember, I'll just say her first name, I won't say her last name, but I remember meeting Kirsten. She was on our cul-de-sac.
Okay.
And she became my best friend. And it was one of those things where it's like you see it in a movie. Because she was this white little girl who's never met anyone who's brown.
Sure.
And obviously I have because I traveled and we, intermixed with everyone. And so it was so cool. She was a year older than me, a grade older than me. And we just became best friends. And I remember the first night I had a sleepover at her house. I was still in elementary. I think I was like in 6th. She was in 7th or whatever the case may be. And we had our sleeping bags on the floor. And, a lot of these stories I'm going to try not to cry because they are so meaningful and they're little snippets of pivotal moments for me that were seeds that were planted that I definitely see full out in my life right now.
Yes.
So, and I remember we were laying on the floor and she touched my hair and then I touched her hair and I fell asleep just stroking her hair because it was just silky and smooth.
Yeah, so different.
And we would just share cultural things and I love all kinds of music. I'm eclectic and I love country music too. And so, we were washing our hands and she's like, it's a family tradition. And so we just, I know, right?
I love it.
We've had the best, it was just one of the best things just growing up and making it through, middle school and high school in that community and, thriving, but really playing sports. And
I was going to ask if you played sports growing up.
Oh, honey, did we not play sports? My dad always had this saying, he had this mentality, if you stay active, you stay out of trouble. And so, yes, I played sports every season. So I did gymnastics for a very short stint. When I fell off that balance beam, I was like,
career ending
preservation here. I don't want to fall on my head. And the leotards just really was my thing. I'm like, can I have a secret, please?
Yes, it's not for everybody.
So I did a little bit of gymnastics, and then I played basketball, and I fell in love with softball. Love softball. I was a catcher, and that's probably why my knees are not what they should be.
Yeah.
And then I did palms because I love dancing and different things of that nature, and I did cheerleading. And even that is just it could be so sad if you look at it one way, but so empowering. So my dad had me and my baby sister, one of the things we did junior Olympic weightlifting. So we would do the clean and jerk and the snatch. Girlfriend, I rocked it.
Love.
But then I was like, I don't want to look like a man. And he got so mad when I quit. I'm like, I want a boyfriend in high school. I don't want everybody to be afraid of me. But we did that, and that was our thing. So my baby sister and I and my dad, we would get in the car and we would drive to the next tournament, and this was our routine.
Sure.
We would check into a hotel, usually a Holiday Inn. My sister and I would shave our legs, right? Like what we know. And then we would go to sleep, goofing around. My dad would be like, okay, you guys need to go to bed. We'd go to bed. And then we go weigh in, and then we go have a pancake breakfast after. And then we do the tournament and come home with our trophies. So because of that, I was exceptionally strong for a girl, right?
What do you think about that now? Like, that's so valuable that you learned how to do that and could do that. Yeah.
Well, the valuable part was I was never going to be on top of the pyramid.
Yeah, right.
But the things that I could do with the other smaller girls on my squad was incredible. So there's this one where the girls are standing on your shoulder and you pop them up. So she would step on my calf and I would literally pop her up to my shoulders and hold her. And there was another one where you just grab their leg and they sit in your hand. And I would seriously be walking around with the girls.
It's amazing.
And I'm like, I am stronger than I know.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, and emotionally, right? Because I was the only one doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time, that was not common. Like, you
No,
know.
and it's hard too because you're an exception to the rule and you have to deal with all of that. But the foundation that you were learning, you couldn't have known at the time. But I'm always on the side of strength, so that's incredible sounding to me.
Yeah.
That you had the opportunity to do that, but you wouldn't know that you'd be sitting here all these years later and be inspiring somebody.
And just the overall, you know, the story of that, right? The work that I do, the life that I live, and all that I do, I'm holding women up. So as a teenager in high school, and the trust that they had, like they had to trust me, one, to get them up there and hold them.
For sure. Yeah.
And keep them safe. And I never dropped anyone. And even as a nurse, I've never dropped a patient or a stranger. I'm like, you look like you're going to fall. I'm going to grab you. And they're like, don't touch me, lady. You know, and so it just, you know, and I like to take those moments because it was hard being, you know, the only Black girl in school and not being able to get a date and all the things. And then you're like super strong. Like, are you she-woman? But then I sit back and I'm like, those girls trusted me to keep them safe. And I'm carrying them on my shoulders. And then literally. And then I look at my life right now and between, you know, Transformative with Dr. Tay or, you know, the nonprofit I started to help women get on their feet, spiritual person, or functioning as a trustee in the village of DeForest, or subbing in my school as a teacher or a nurse in my district, or just even with my 3 kids. It's like everywhere I look, I'm holding people up. And so I love that, like to go back in my story and say, okay, you know what, that was hard. I cried, I felt isolated, I felt all alone, but there was a purpose.
Yeah, and that's what hard things are.
Exactly.
I mean, you really do feel that when you are building. And it doesn't always feel like that when you're young. It definitely doesn't feel like that because you don't have perspective or life experience to frame it up. But that's what that is. And now that's been a thread in your life for all these years. And it's amazing.
I'm working. In high school, I had 3 jobs. I was at Pick and Save, McDonald's, and then I worked at this Jewish camp. And I was working so hard. So between work and taking care of my siblings and school, I was so out of it. I went to the wrong job at the wrong time.
Oh, whoops.
And my boss looked at me and was like, sit down and eat.
Yeah.
And I'll pay you
a lot.
I'm just going to pay you to eat. I'm like, you know what? That's amazing. And now I look at my life and I got all of these different responsibilities. And one of the things as I look back, I'm like, well, what did that teenage girl need? She needed permission. To stop. She needed permission to rest. She needed permission to just sit in her space and enjoy the moment. And so I tried to own that, to work through that hurt, that trauma, and then grow and shine so that I can show other people how to do that. But then in my current me, I'm like, okay, you've got a lot of hats. When are you going to take a moment to just sit and celebrate? Like, I never really celebrated all of the successes, like making it through high school. Like, let's celebrate that. That's huge. And so just really, you know, putting that in my life, like even as a mom and having 3 beautiful kiddos. Okay, they're not kiddos, okay? 21, 19, and 16. They're not kiddos, but when I look at them, I just see my little babies.
I know. Same.
And they're like, Mom, stop. Okay, but just looking at that and just, you know, as a single mom, raising all of them and still doing and attaining all the things while dealing with all the trauma, all the stress, all the hardships, and giving myself permission to celebrate that and not, you know, just move on to the very next thing. And so I know that as a child, you know, we had one particular situation that could have wrecked me. Well, actually, there's a whole bunch, but we had our camper torched in front of our house. Someone came and blew it up.
Oh my gosh.
Because they didn't think we belonged in that neighborhood because we didn't look like everyone else.
Oh my gosh.
That was an Oconomowoc. And the part that resonates with me the most isn't the fact that the camper that my dad used, that was a tool to create dreamers. We traveled everywhere. I remember when we drove that thing to Yellowstone,
Oh my
you
God.
know, and when we went to Niagara Falls. Like, I believe I'm a dreamer because my dad did that.
Yes.
And I got to see so much. But what got me was when the propane tank exploded
That
and
is so
landed
scary.
on our front porch. It was the look and the scream in my mom's voice that I don't think I'll ever forget. Because what she knew, but she didn't tell, that I thought she didn't know, was that my brother, the wrestler, the popular Mr. Popular, would go hang out with his friends. And if he got home too late, he would sleep in the camper.
Oh my God.
So when he wasn't in his room, my mom thought he was in there when it exploded.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, did he come in? Where is he? And he was in the basement. He snuck into the basement or whatnot. But it was one of those things where it imprints on you. Like a mom, like even now as a mom with my 3 kids, I understand what that scream meant. At the time, I didn't. But now as a mom, I totally do.
Well, and that's who you're counting on to help you through something like that. So if that is not solid, then you are going to be much more worried.
Yes. So high school was crazy, and I ended up getting raped in high school, and that was that's in the book. And so making it through that, and then went off to UWM for school. I actually got kicked out the house.
Oh, I thought you meant of school. Okay.
I got kicked out of the house. But it's so funny. My dad didn't kick me out because I was a bad kid. I not going to school or different things of that nature. My father and I are almost alike. Driven, passionate, and stubborn. And so, he wanted me to go into the Air Force. Like the rest of my siblings. So Uncle Sam got all 5.
Did all of them do? Okay.
Yes, my baby sister, she ended up getting out a little bit, but yes, basically all my siblings. And fun fact, I don't have the body structure for any military because there's a set body type, right? I'm curvaceous and I'm thick and I got muscles. And so I remember I took the ASVAB and I scored really high and it was great. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get whatever job I want. And then we got to the physical part and they're like, you need to lose some. I'm like, I kind of like what I'm working with here, And, but long and the short, I didn't go into the Air Force. So that was he did not like that. And then he wanted me to go to Spelman, which is a historically all-black college. But what he didn't know, and I couldn't tell him because it was a secret, when I was in the 6th grade, my dad was in Desert Storm, and my grandfather died at that time.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to go to the funeral because at that time my mom didn't think that kids should go to funerals. And so my grandfather, I didn't know how sick he was until I was in nursing school. Okay. But I made a promise to him that I would become a nurse and I would take care of everybody like they were him. And he was my world. My grandpa Don was my world. I didn't know that he had kidney failure and he was on dialysis. So when we would go to his house and he would let me play with the frog, I found out in nursing school I was playing with his fistula, his lifeline. And I almost passed out in class. And I'm like,
how could you have understood at such a young age?
I could have killed him at any moment. He's like, make the frog go ribbit. And I'm like, that's not okay. Trauma.
Things have changed.
But I loved him and I love spending time with him. Like that's the majority of my childhood memory is Florida, Hollandale, Florida with my grandpa, grapefruit and sugar cane. That's what we grew up on, me and my brother Charles, who he called Apple Brown. And so that was a promise that I made. In the 6th grade, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. That was my goal. And when I looked into the programs at Spelman, they didn't have a nursing program. So there's no way I could meet that goal and honor my grandfather if I went there. But I couldn't tell my dad because it was a secret. It was like an internal secret. So I'm always setting goals, but I don't tell people about them. And we were standing in the kitchen. He was so frustrated, so angry with me, but I couldn't explain. And he was like, I want her gone by the time I come home from work. Hindsight's 20/20. He didn't mean it.
No.
But I'm just as stubborn as he is. And so I found a job at UW-Milwaukee, continuing education. I found a place to live, which planted the seed for my nonprofit 20 plus years and I didn't even know it. And I was gone before he got home from work. And that set a standard in me that if I speak it, I need to do it, and I need to figure it out, and my goals need to be met, especially if I verbalize them.
Well, and not saying something costs you something, and so then you have to make it worth that cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and I had to leave my baby brother, my baby sister, which were my children.
What was the age difference between you and them?
So
they
Alicia
much
is
younger?
about 3.5 years younger
Okay.
than me. So I was born in 78. So she's like 3.5 years, and then Joshua is maybe like 4, 5, 6 years younger.
Okay, sure.
So we were all in elementary. So I would walk him to kindergarten, kiss him goodbye, drop him off to his teacher, and then I would walk to the 3rd grade, drop my sister off, say goodbye to her, and then I would go to school because I was, even though I'm a winter baby, so I'm technically a year behind because they have that
You're old for your
rule
class,
that you're. So that was my life. And then after school, I would pick them up in reverse order. We would get on the bus. I would go home. I would make dinner, and it was always a 4-course meal or more.
Yeah.
And then I would do chores, do all the things, do their homework with them, and put them to bed. So I was definitely
Oh yeah. So
momming
that would have been a tough thing to do, to move out of that.
Yes.
And on your own.
Yes. And then to go from Oconomowoc, where everybody has what they need and there's no bus system there,
Right.
to Milwaukee. Like, talk about a culture shock.
That is definitely
100%. And this, what you see now is what I was my whole life without boundaries and filters and all the things.
Yeah.
So I would look at a complete stranger and be like, hello, good morning, how are you?
And everyone welcomes that.
Yeah, so I'm like in Milwaukee, like this little light, because I didn't realize the light that I had until now, right?
Sure. You kind of grow into
this
it.
little
Maybe.
light bouncing around, looking people in the eyes, smiling, and doing all the things. I couldn't understand half the responses that I got. And just to let you know how much of a shock it was, I collected the bus tickets because every day they were a different color. So I would put them in order, time, date, and all the things. And I just had these stacks. I'm like, this is so cool. You get a little ticket.
A new thing.
But this kind of energy and this light attracts a lot of dark, right? So we had some really hard times, in those early college years as well. Just not understanding who you are, not understanding your worth and your boundaries.
Well, you think everyone has that. When you have that, well, you hope people have that, but then you want to be that for people, and so there can be a lot of hard lessons there because everyone is not designed the same and they don't always project who they are. And so those can be rough.
But they were always received in okay, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Yeah. That's amazing.
And how can I help? Who can I help with this? And, no matter how hurtful it was or painful it was or just scary and all the things, it was, okay, now what can I glean from this to share? And I think that was just my subconscious doing that because I don't know that I was actually saying that to myself. And so I graduated from UW with nursing and got pregnant with my son, Dwayne, and that flipped a switch. I went from not having any boundaries, not really knowing how to protect myself, not really seeing red flags because of all of the traumas, physical and sexual, that I had growing up. But he was like my little blessing, my little angel from heaven that I had to do things for him. So I still hadn't learned to do things for myself. No. But and it was just me and my baby bear, and he was so smart and so intuitive, and I'm like, he clearly gets that from me, right? And so just being a single mom, and I was only 25 when I had him, all by myself, and just going through raising a boy that is just so smart. He is so incredibly smart. Like, he still is. He does things, and I look at him like, how did you even come up with that? And so we did that, and 2 years later, so there's only a 2-year span between him and his sister. So once again, a single mom with two kiddos, surgery and trying to figure out life, and that's when we landed in DeForest. My ex-husband started the project, and I bought it and took everything over. And I remember I made a promise to him, because growing up, I didn't have the relationship with my mom that would be encouraging, uplifting, and all the things that would help you be what I am.
Sure.
And so that was a promise that I made, that my kiddos would have the mom I always wanted. And so just full of love, full of all the things. There when they wake up, there when they go to bed.
Yeah.
Field trips. I went on so many field trips. They were like, can you give another parent a chance?
Yeah, really.
And I'm like, sure. And then they call me like, okay, no one wants one. Can you come? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm already there. You know, and just like showing up. And my kiddos, they didn't know, you know, the hardship of being a single mom. They didn't know the hardship of being a Black woman who is young and highly educated and very passionate and very outspoken. And, you know, just my mentality is I always, and I taught this to my kids, you always fight for those who don't have a voice. You always show up for those who don't have people showing up for them. And that's how I lived my life. You step out with integrity, you function with ethics and purpose, and you bring somebody along with you. And if you can bring more than one somebody, bring as many as you can. And so having my kids and just, you know, the issues with, you know, dealing with the dad, you know, and different things of that nature, that's hard, right? And then on top of that, to be in a career where you're not typically, let's just be clear, you know, 10, 15 years ago, it was not common to be a Black nurse. You were either a CNA or, you know, janitorial or something like that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So just even the mental anguish of going into the hospital or going into academia, because I was a nursing instructor as well, young, with multiple degrees, and just not even being seen. Like, oh, I didn't know people went for their masters. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, what you really mean is you didn't know that Black people went for their masters, right? And so, like, even growing up in Oconomowoc and being in a predominantly all-white community, it exposed me to so much, but it taught me so much, and it helped me to understand how to interact with people that don't look like me, and how to get through a barrier and a wall with love and compassion while making sure that you're still okay, right? And it taught me the importance of words and the phrases, inflection of voice, body posture. So you may be talking to me, but I am listening to your eyes, your heart, you know, your everything, all the things, and then your words. What word did you use at that moment? And what different word could you have used for the same thing, but it was more respectful and kind? And that is what I do when I meet anyone. So when I meet strangers, they get my full attention, all my love and compassion. And if you have a name tag on your chest, I will use it, because you have to wear it, and I want to honor you in that. So just doing that with my kiddos and just taking every step and every journey forward.
So when you were, so a couple of things, you know, your best friend on the cul-de-sac, you know, kids teach us so much, and I moved around a lot, and I also was in the Air Force, so we have some kinship here. But so I think, you know, something that taught me, because, you know, as much as you were somewhere where you stood out because you didn't look like everybody else, you know, that was new for everybody else too. And so when you're an adult, you come up with how you view the world, and that's where you operate from. But kids are so much more open to that. And typically they're following what their parents do. So I think it's very beautiful that someone was on your cul-de-sac, even a cul-de-sac, because it's very few choices there.
Right.
I live on one, so. But even that she was there for the two of you to explore that together without all the, and you didn't tell the whole story, so I can't operate like I know, but it's like your hearts can speak to each other despite what they're being housed in. And so So yeah, sometimes I think, if we just let the kids demonstrate to us how those interactions should go, we could learn a lot, because we forget that we were them.
Yes.
And somehow we grow up and we really narrow our view, and we really think that who we are and what we do and what we think and what we believe as an individual is the optimal thing. And it just cannot be that way. I mean, billions of people have existed. So I think a more appropriate approach is, I am who I am, I believe what I believe because of my life experiences. It's very hard for me to step out of that because I haven't experienced it. But how about I just be open to it?
Yeah.
And so then that's a better starting place. And so,
fun fact, we are still good friends. We lost contact and came back.
Yeah.
But I love what you said about let's let the kids do. That is so incredibly powerful, because we were best friends. We were inseparable. We did everything together. And it wasn't until I was in 8th grade, because I was still in middle school, in 8th grade, and she was in high school. And what could have been a beautiful thing ended up being tragic. I remember she came home after school, she rode her bike down to my house, and she had tears. And I'm like, and I knew she was my best friend. I knew there was something really, really wrong, because this girl was strong. She was not a crier. We did the talent show together. I taught her how to dance. Oh, dear. And we danced to the Addams Family.
Yes.
It was perfect in our bibs, right? So we were sharing culture with each other. Yeah. We were sharing love and life. But it was when she wrote about our story. A little white girl from a small town, and, a brown girl comes and moves in. And obviously hindsight's 2020, and your memory isn't always the way it is. But what I remember from that moment was the tears in her eyes when she was told she's not supposed to write stories like this. That part. And it shifted our relationship a little bit. It was almost like she didn't know if she could, what to do, because an outside force had burst our very beautiful, and I learned how to make bracelets out of string, and all the things. And so it's so cool that even though that happened, and it could have been detrimental to our life, our journey, our friendship, we are in each other's lives.
That's amazing.
I support her kids and dance and stuff. My daughter ended up playing a softball game in her town.
Oh, fun.
And she came to it. So she played softball. We were on a softball team together. Yeah. So it was so fun to be sitting in the audience with my best friend watching my daughter play softball when we were both softball things. Right. So and just really texting and just having a relationship that spans the test of time. And it just shows me, one of the things that what I gleaned from that was, there will always be outside negative.
Always.
Trying to destroy a beautiful light. And it may have an impact, but what's meant to be will always be. And it can't be destroyed. And you just have to hold on to that. Because it's easy to get angry, and it's easy to get bitter, and it's easy to go that route, because it takes a little bit of grit, and it takes a little bit of faith and a little bit of hope to be like, this is what it is right now, but it's not going to always be that way. No. And that's why I share, not just in my book, but in my life when I meet people, that's why I share all the ugly, because I want them to see the beautiful. I didn't know, that I would be on December 17th sitting with you
in your best experience yet,
with my clothes, looking great and feeling good and loving life, with all of these things, like a single mom with 4 degrees, like a bachelor's in nursing, a master's in nursing, a master's in business administration, and a doctorate in education. Like, there's no way I would have gleaned that in an apartment in Delafield, crying my head off with how I'm going to do this and take care of these kids. And the 3 advanced degrees came when my kids were here and I was all by myself.
That's amazing.
Doing work while they're sleeping, and crying, and not having the income, and at some point being on state assistance and dealing with the hardship of that. Like, I'm on state assistance because I got injured, or because life happened. And then you're treated differently, or you're looked down on. The only difference is I had the education, and I knew better. And I knew.
Yes. And you had an aim. So, you know, when you say all of the things that were going on and all the things that could have derailed you, you know, you're a single parent and you're on state assistance and all of this, any one of those things could have derailed you. So what was it? Like, what was it that didn't allow that? Because I study mental toughness. I too have many degrees. I'm getting my doctorate, and it is in mental toughness and motherhood. So what is it that allowed you to not be derailed in those moments? Do you know?
I do.
Okay. Yes.
I didn't know,
Sure.
but I do now. And I did as I was growing. One, it was my faith.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest external motivator, because I didn't have internal motivation because I was still dealing with all of my traumas and all the hurts of my elementary girl, my adolescent girl, my middle school girl, you know, so all of that needed to be healed. So what you see now is all of those girls healed and ready to just shine. So my external motivation were my babies. They were my babies because I knew they were watching me. And I had to show up. And I had to not let anything hit and impact in a way that would dim the light that was already growing and shining in them. Because I wanted dreamers. I wanted them to do far more than I ever did or ever could. And so that was what made me get up. That is what made me get my schoolwork done, but not interrupt family time because they deserve an all-present mom. So reading a book, to this day, they still expect me to be present because that's what I instilled in them. I will read to you. I will be there with you. We will talk through things. There isn't anything you can't ask me that I won't answer. Now, depending on what it is, give me a moment to brace myself.
Of course,
some of these questions are like, do I need to answer that right now? You know, and being a single mom, you have both hats. So raising a male, we've had some very interesting conversations.
Yes.
And I love it because I always wanted them to know that I am your biggest fan. I am your biggest cheerleader. I will die for you as long as you're honest and you're doing what you need to do and you give me a platform to fight for you. I will always fight for you. My son and I have this saying, I got your six, right? Because that means I'm always got your back. And so really, honestly, and still now, still even today, like even writing the book and finishing the book, I had my kids in mind because they don't know mom's dark because mom never showed it to them because I needed their childhood. Yes. And obviously what I didn't know as a parent that I would share with every mother is no matter what, your kids' journey are their journey and they're going to experience what they experience. I just positioned myself to be their safety net. Like I can't stop everything even though I want to.
It's so hard, yeah.
And even when I do tell you to give you a little like trailer or give you like a little foreshadowing, you still are hard-headed, you don't listen and you do your own thing. Like, so I'm going to sit on my hands and I'll just be here to catch you and give you the information that you need. And it's so funny. It never stops. It never stops. I thought once my son became 18, I would lose the momness that I just held on to so tight. He told me one time, he's like, Mom, you need to cut the umbilical cord or somebody's going to cut it for you.
I cannot. My son's 11 and I just am like, I even told him yesterday, I'm like, hey, you're in 6th grade and just so you know, you're going to start to like not tell me stuff. And it's like, no, you're not. So let's just establish right now, you can still tell me, you can always tell me, you know, and I understand that will change, but yeah, you just don't want, you know.
My rebuttal to him was, it's not theirs. They should leave it alone.
Yes, exactly.
And it's so funny because even though he said that, just this morning, we were dialoguing and coaching. I'm just learning that as a mom, you got to get crafty in coaching and letting go with the expectation that they're going to do what you've trained and instilled in them.
You have to believe in what you
got to do it,
taught them,
or else you're going crazy. And so it's so beautiful because after the conversation, he was like, and walked away. I'm like, Yes.
Validation.
I still got it.
Yeah.
But yes, my kids are, was, and will always be my external motivation to, like Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. And, you know, and that's what I tried with each kid, right? Like, I know I got it wrong with my son. Okay, I didn't. He's doing amazing things as a firefighter, Air Force, and EMT, and all the things. But I look and I say, okay, what could I have done better? And then I try it with the next one. And what could I have done better? And I try it with the next one. And now I take all three of them. So my grandson is going to get
luck.
all the things. Because, you know, you learn from the mistakes and you celebrate the wins. And then what I've really learned and what I try to share with women that I work with is self-permission is the most powerful permission. And giving yourself permission to say it's okay and to pick up where you left off and keep moving forward. And I didn't understand that in the beginning because I am my own worst critic.
Yeah.
And I beat myself up. You know, I'm a perfectionist and an overachiever, a helicopter mom, and all the things. And so you could only imagine what the stress level like. There's no permission at all. And so that's what I hold on to. And then I had really great mentors along the way. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to be recorded so people know now. I chose mentors and made them my mentors, and half the time they didn't even know it. I'm like,
you do have to do that.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
I am going to, and so I love the fact that all my life I've been a sponge, and I love being a sponge. Like, even with all of the degrees, I'm like, I still want to know what you know. I still want to grow. And, you know, like even working with interns, I'm like, you have an expertise that I don't have. What can I glean from you? You're still in school trying to figure it out, but you figured out something that I didn't because your journey is your journey. So what can I glean from you? And once I realized as a mom that I could do that with my kids, I started learning like crazy because they're so incredibly smart. And the way that they think about things and the way that they go about. So every, you know, pivotal moment, my parenting shifted, you know, because I grew up, speak when spoken to, your elders know everything and you don't talk back and all the things. Like, it's just very contained.
It was more regimented.
It's very regimented. And I remember the moment that, I love it. My son, I love it when he speaks freely, and then I don't love it when he speaks freely, right? Because kids are so truthful.
I know.
And I remember he was like, Mom, I need you to just listen to this. And I was like, what? And so it was like, you know what? Get out of what this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
And show up right now and see what happens. And it was just incredible. Like, even my brother has 3 boys. I call them my boys. They're wrestlers, so I'm a wrestling aunt. And I was with my little Christopher, and he is so amazing. He reminds me like Mowgli off the Jungle Book, and I call him my little Mowgli. And I ate something, and I was like, oh, I was getting them ready for school because I was helping my brother out. And I was like, oh, my stomach hurts so bad. And you know, this little boy, couldn't been more than 4, looked at me, he said, it was your own choice.
Yes.
And I'm like,
that is so true. Also, he's 4 saying that.
I'm like, are you supposed to talk? Okay, you're not wrong. And I'm like, and then I thought about it. I'm like, kids are so incredibly smart. Teens are, that's why I love middle schoolers, because they're at that moment where they don't know what they don't know, but they're learning so much, and they can engage in a conversation and understand and still be molded.
Yeah.
And so when I meet adults, we all have that kid in us. We all have that voice, that light that was dimmed one way or another, but every now and then it comes out. And so, just not that I think adults are kids, but it's like that child voice that really took you to that next step. What are they saying right now?
That may have been silenced, or, you know, just forgot it had a voice or whatever that is. So this this greater than self, you know, when you talked about like your kids, you did it for your kids, and that really is something greater than you. And I think, you know, for people who are having a hard time showing up or being resilient, you know, and moms just, you know, they're run down, and you have to hang on to that, because doing something or having a purpose that's greater than you, then eventually unveils the purpose that you couldn't find. And this really is your story.
That is.
And so that is just so important. And I think there are, just so many women out there who don't know. They don't know. And you talk about being a single parent, and there are a lot of women who are single parents, but in a relationship, And so they're raising, it's not the same.
Oh, I've been there too.
But you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then it's, you do all the things, and being busy, you talked about like being busy when you're in something like that is really, it's difficult to be still and give yourself permission to be still, because being still is a threat to everything falling apart, because you're using all of your energy and whatever you have to just keep all the plates spinning. But if you stop, they will crash to the floor. And so, I mean, sometimes that has to happen in order for you to grow. But yeah, so this greater than self aim would be a place for somebody to start if they didn't know.
Yes. And it's multifaceted too, because I remember when I was married, I've been married twice, and in both times I was all alone. I was still a single mom. And not for everyone. I'm speaking for me and my story and my journey, but for me, that was worse than being a single mom, because you had the idea of help that was never there. And so I try to sit in that space too, and work with women that are in that, because it makes the journey even harder, because now you have that burden, but all moms know that they're being watched by their children, and they're trying. Yes. And when you feel like you're a failure, and, depending on the relationship and the dynamic with your kids, and if they see you as a failure or have been taught to see you as a failure, like all of these different things makes that light that is in you so dim that you actually get used to the chaos, used to the struggle, used to the pain, where you become numb, and now it's harder to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's your norm, and change is hard. Even if it's good
For
change,
sure.
It's hard. And so, that's one of the things where if you don't have that external motivation, because, your relationship with your kids it's tumultuous, it's hard, it's painful, because they're saying things that cut you to the core, knowing that you are just doing the best that you can do in that moment with the tools that you have. And they may not even be good tools if we have generational bad choices, bad decisions, hurt, anger, all the things. And we're not even talking about mental health, substance abuse. We're just talking about being a person. You may not have that in your children. And so one of the things that I try to coach and help women to see is, take a moment and what would you need? Or what would you say to someone else that you care about?
That is it.
And then do that for you in baby steps. Because there's no way you're going to full out at 100% go.
No.
Give yourself what you would give someone else. But what is something tiny? And then, like a snowball rolling, how do you add to it? And then if the snowball hits the wall and it's all gone, what little piece of that snowball can you pick up and keep going? And so it's not necessarily getting to the end. It's more of, what baby steps are you taking along the way on the journey that'll keep you moving forward? And that's what, it's overwhelming and it's daunting, but that's what I try to be for the women in my circle, out of my circle, and just women that I see across the street or walking down. Like, it is nothing for me to take off my scarf and give it to you. If you have the gumption and the grit to say, I love your scarf,
This yours?
then it's yours.
Yeah.
I've done it so many times in the mall. Or, like, one of the things that I love the most is when I go to a restaurant, and if people want to do this too, I I do not hold on to anything because I know I'm not the first person to do it.
Yes.
Right? So shared wisdom is the best wisdom, because then everybody can use it and everybody can get a little good stuff from it. But when I go to a restaurant, I keep cards in my purse. And so each of my servers get a handwritten card with their name.
Yeah.
But I pay the bill like you do, and I put the tip on the bill like you do. But whatever cash I have in my purse, and I try to always carry cash,
Sure.
it goes in the card. As I see you, and you matter.
That's lovely.
You know, you are doing more than you ever could imagine when you bring that plate to the table. And they may not even be paying attention to you. They may be on their phone. They may be arguing. Kids may be throwing stuff. But you've brought in food to a person or a family. And you have been part of their journey, whether you know it or not. And the experience that they have will stay with them one way or another, consciously or subconsciously. And you did that.
Yeah.
And you're coming to work with your own junk, your own stress, your own
that you have to suspend.
Falling apart.
Yeah, and you have to suspend that because I might, as your customer, have something going on.
Yes. Yeah. So when you look me in the eye and you say, "Hi, how can I take your order?" knowing that you were just in the bathroom, bawling your eyes out, and you put your face back together because you didn't want to look like somebody hit you with an ugly stick.
Yeah.
The least I can do is honor you, use your name, and leave a card to let you know how much you matter to me. And now I do it when I go to hotels too, and I check in, and it, it's just all the things. Yeah. It's just like, who doesn't want some type of acknowledgement that they matter? Because that's all any person ever wants.
Greatest human need is to be validated and seen.
To know that you matter. And so that is what I try to instill in my kids. But more importantly, that's what I try to have just come out of me when I meet people or when I do things or when I engage. Is there's a couple things that you can't get back. You can always make money, but you can't get back time and a precious moment. And if I never see you again, what did I do in that time and in that precious moment to help you to know that you matter just as much as I do?
That's lovely. Do you want to talk about what you're doing with that in your life now? So we should talk about, and you can tell me or you can tell the camera viewers what you're up to, and nonprofit, all of the things. Yeah. And I'm just going to let you talk about that.
Yes. So I'm up to a lot of things. So I started my nonprofit, the Women's Place and Resource Center, 10 years ago, helping women get on their feet spiritually, personally, professionally, after life has lifed them. So there isn't any particular crisis or event that would, exclude you from working with me. It's whatever life has lifed you and you need a place to just be, not physical. We offer education, training, development, and we connect women with the resources that they need to help them along their journey while maintaining that relationship with them. But before I started that in 2015, I actually started Transformative with Dr. Tay in 2012. Yes. And it's a coaching, training thing, business that I do to just really connect with women, to help them find their authentic self, their authentic voice, and to really grow from there. Because let's just be real. It is powerful to show up as a woman in your authentic voice and self. You're a better friend. You're a better mom. You're a better employee. You're a better person to yourself. Like, you're able to show up for yourself in a way that no one else can do because you're always with yourself. And so I just finished my book. Yes, Birth from Within, 7 Steps to Finding, Walking, and Growing in Your Authentic Self. And that book, it was so powerful to write it because it forced me to sit like I don't do.
No, it's
in
difficult.
Between running 2 businesses, working as a nurse, functioning as a trustee, and still having 3 kids and now a brand new grandson who's 5 months. I don't sit still.
No.
But it forced me to sit still, and it also forced me to go back to self-reflecting and going through each of the stages where my light was dimmed, my voice was softened, or my voice was taken away, and work through those moments so that I could show up today knowing my worth, knowing my value, having a voice, and being able to work with others to find that, do that, grow in that, and then share it. The ultimate goal is to One, have a nonprofit in every major metropolitan city across the U.S. because I don't know what they need in New Orleans, but they do.
Right.
And so take it, run with it, just stick to the mission and vision of what it means, because we all need a place of hope and encouragement, love and inspiration. And so my book just launched. It was so cool to write it. I love the cover. And just seeing it on Amazon ready for purchase was just like, it did so many things. One, it allowed me to take a moment to share some hardships that would and could have wrecked and derailed the very person that I am today. And offer steps as to how you can work through things and grow. Quick or slow. I recommend slow because the body remembers.
Yes.
And the body needs time to catch up to the light, right?
Yeah.
But then it also showed me that I can do anything. You know, the goal was to write this book and have it done before my birthday, December 1st.
Yes.
And it happened.
Yes.
And to share with as many people as possible hope and encouragement. Because if I can do it, anyone can do it.
And it's incredible what you can figure out that you can do as an individual when you allow yourself to heal from things that were imposed on you or even choices you made. And, you know, you talked about mistakes. And are there mistakes? I mean, sometimes you're just doing the best you can with the knowledge and resources you have. And you look back on it like a mistake, but probably it was the best decision in that time. And to actually learn what you're capable of and get a little feedback on that, you know, set a goal to publish a book by your birthday. It's incredible. And then to do that kind of feedback about what you're capable of is incredible. And a lot of times you have to get that from yourself, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then you can grow into this beautiful person who has all of this stuff going on and can affect people in all different ways and impact their community and their family. And it's great. So say the name of the book again so that.
Birth from Within. 7 Steps to Finding, Walking, and Growing in Your Authentic Self.
Yes, and available on Amazon.
It is.
Yes.
Available on Amazon.
Okay.
It's so fun. You just type in my first name and it pops up.
Do you do that?
I love it.
So, yes. So when I did my children's books, like, I kind of stalked it for a while because it's so weird to see, you know, you produced something that literally anyone in the world can access.
Yes.
That is incredible.
Yes.
It's overwhelming, kind of. Yeah.
And it took a lot of vulnerability. There's some vulnerability in the book. And so I co-authored a textbook when I was teaching at the technical college. And the feeling is so different between the two that I'm like, this is mine. Like, this is us. I did the first 8 chapters with the tests, questions, and different things of that nature. But in writing this, it's not a textbook. It's a tool. That anyone can put in their toolbox and use it whenever they want. And it's not super thick because I don't like super thick books because I'm too busy. I don't have time to sit. And so I had that in my frame of mind when I wrote it. You need what you need right now. And how can I get out of my own way and help put forth something that when you pick it up, my goal, my hope, my dream, and my vision is that you walk away with something that
awesome.
You can use right now. 1, to know that you matter. 2,
we can wait. It's okay.
To know that you can do it. And 3, you'll see and hear in the book, you're not alone. Because I am here. And as long as I have air in my lungs, I will be here for women that just need a person to believe in them, to encourage them, to challenge them, but to just show up. People forget how incredibly important it is to just show up. Even if you just sit still and don't say a word.
You might not have to do anything.
Just the energy and presence of being available to someone who is feeling alone, spiraling, overwhelmed, just the air in their lungs is even hard to hold on to. Just show up. And I realized that when I got COVID and landed in the hospital for 14 days, and as a single mom, leaving your kids, was like death to them.
And especially, all the uncertainty, the chaos.
And just being able to show up to the community and have people show up for me, it really resonates and it reiterates the importance of showing up. And even though I may be on the struggle bus and it hit me and now it's just idling on top of me because it doesn't want to move, I still show up because my struggle bus may not be like your struggle bus. And so when we show up together, we can get away from that struggle bus. And so I just love that. And that's the heart, soul, and passion I put in that book because I knew I didn't know what I needed until I got through it. And now that I know what I needed and what other people may need, how do I not share that?
Right.
How do I not give that back? How do I not pay that forward? My degrees, my life, my success is not my own. It's for the person next to me who needs that push, that encouragement, or just that simple fact of you can totally do it. And so that's what the book is supposed to be about.
I love that. And you say as long as you have air in your lungs, you're here, but now you've created something that will long outlast you, and so you'll still be here even when you're not. And that's what it's for. If you're doing everything just for you, honestly, like, where's the satisfaction in that? That is where motherhood comes in. We put something else ahead of us and we work toward that. That doesn't mean we don't develop ourselves to max capacity. Like, what am I capable of? But why would I do that? I wouldn't do that just for me to prove what I'm capable. I would do it to share. Hey, this is the human experience. This is what I'm capable of. What does that spark in you that you're capable of? And we're all intertwined anyway, as much as people want to believe what happens to them doesn't affect me. It does, the world, the whole world. And we try to maybe compartmentalize that and have our own experience. But the point is, you're here as part of a collective, and what you can develop in yourself may inspire somebody else to develop that in themselves, and then collectively that becomes better.
Yes.
So,
and I learned that with my kids, is that originally I was doing it for them so they could see, grow in this, but then I realized the better I am, the more healed I am, the more they thrive. And that was the catalyst to the experiment that I'm like, I have to self-care, self-love, grow, set boundaries. I never had boundaries. Set boundaries and be okay with that. Like, I have to do all these things because they grow and shine even more.
Yes.
And I love it when my son's like, Mom, I'm going to achieve more than you. I'm like, please do it. This is not, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I want for you. And so it's cool. And giving yourself permission to let those external motivators be okay. Because every now and then you'll say, you got to do it. You got to do it for yourself. And well, you may not be there. So give yourself permission to say, you know what? I'm going to get out of bed today. I really don't want to. I don't have any reason internally to. But when I look at that child, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to be okay with what my best is right now. And I'm not going to compare it to your best because your best is different than my best.
It's irrelevant to your best.
And just really giving yourself permission and giving other people permission. Because when we're on social media and we're on our devices and we're doing all these things, we're constantly being compared to each other. And that is the standard. When really, compare yourself to yourself. And that's the standard.
Yes, absolutely.
And move forward in that. And so that's what I try to teach and instill and give permission, because it's so funny. My assistant, I'm like, I need you to do this and give me permission because I'm not there yet. I am not there to give myself permission to follow my schedule as it is, because I will cancel things for other people because I haven't given myself permission to show up for me first. Right? And so sometimes I tell people, who in your circle do you have that can give you permission and you know you'll do it because they said it?
Because someone else said it.
Because someone else said it. And so I try to be that, because I'll meet people and they're like, I don't have anybody. Well, that in and of itself makes the journey hard. So I'm like, you do.
Yeah.
You have me.
You do now.
And I'm all over the internet. So you
right.
find my phone number, you text me, you email me.
Yeah.
Because once you have a person that'll show up for you, my goodness. Not only is the ceiling lifted and gone, you're going past the stars because you have that one person that no matter how bad you mess up, no matter how bad you shine, like all the things, they are there. And that is more powerful than money, anything this earth has to offer, because you have your person.
Yeah, I agree. And then that dim light starts to shine a little brighter.
And next thing you know, you're glowing and you're a lighthouse.
Yeah, and then you're here. Okay, so if people wanted to get a hold of you, so we'll put it on the screen. Is that the best way to go to your website if they wanted to get a hold of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Transformativewithdrtay.com is the best way. My phone number's there. My email's there. All of my social media connections are there.
Yes, love.
And most importantly, I'm there.
Yes, most importantly.
I'm
Okay,
there.
Any final thought before we wrap up today?
Yes. My final thought is, first of all, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for what you do. I mean, just the whole idea and concept of what you offer, creating a space for moms to just be and share their story is priceless. Because we don't get to share. We don't get to step back and see everything in its totality. And so, thank you. And lastly, to all of the amazing, incredible viewers, thank you. Thank you for your time, your attention, your support, and just showing up. Just showing up and seeing this recording is more powerful and impactful than you could ever imagine. And the amount of gratitude that I have in my heart only grows knowing that this platform was created for all of us to be connected in one way or another. So thank you.
Yay. And thank you for coming on. This was incredible. I'm so happy you did that.
Yes.
And everybody can get a hold of you at your website.
Yes.
And I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so another great episode, and thanks to Dr. Tay for coming on. Remember to keep your perspective, but don't be afraid to step into somebody else's like we did today. Be resilient, continue to show up. We talked a lot today about why you would do that, even if you can't find a reason. Find something outside of yourself to aim toward and continue to show up. Have a pursuit that will always give you something to aim for, and when you achieve it, find another one. We got to keep going and developing who we are so that collectively we become better. And for those of you that feel alone, that's why this platform is here. We do not want you to feel alone. And there are 2 billion of us worldwide. And so we are here for you. Thank you.